Let's get it. Bitcoin and Ethereum supplies continue to drop, which historically has been an extremely bullish thing for the cryptocurrency market as a whole. Because of these two assets being a hedge against inflation, we could also see an influx of new investors coming into this space with inflation fears rising. As we know, what is good for Bitcoin and Ethereum tends to trickle down and also be good for the rest of the altcoins. Today we will talk about how my strategy for the rest of this bull run has slightly shifted, but that also means taking on more and more risk. So let's go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Cabin. My name is Tom, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Bitcoin supply and Ethereum supply, how they are continuing to drop, and that is typically a very good sign for the cryptocurrency market as a whole. We will also be chatting about the altcoins in general, how the altcoin market is shaping up, and how my strategy has slightly shifted to moving away from Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I'm starting to load up my altcoin bags a lot more. Lastly, with this shift in strategy, it is very important to make sure that I do issue a fair warning, as there are many scams out there, and I don't want you guys getting completely wrecked. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Starting off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin supply on exchanges has dropped to a 3-year low. So the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges is at its lowest point in the past 3 years, suggesting that investors are not preparing to sell. Ethereum is also at a 2-year low for the balance on exchanges. This potentially indicates some bullish signs for the market. Historically, Bitcoin balances have been low when the market has been on the cusp of a good run. Bitcoin exchange balances tend to rise when the market is about to increase their sell-off. Basically, when investors are moving money onto exchanges, they are preparing to sell. That is typically a bearish sign. When they are taking Bitcoin off of exchanges, that is typically a bullish sign, because they see a lot of future upside still in the market and they want to keep their Bitcoin a little bit safer by moving it off of exchanges into cold storage. The last time exchange balances were so low was on December of 2018. Long-term Bitcoin holders also appear to be accumulating and continue to. They have for this whole last few months, which further lends credence to the idea that growth is in the near future. So as we can see here, this is the balance of Bitcoin on exchanges, and we are now dropping and nearing the lows where we were at back here in December of 2018. So what happened to the Bitcoin price after that? Here is December 2018. We then continued to rally all the way up to here before we had a big pullback and then the C dump. So after that, we did rally up 338%. So if we were to see something similar from the current price, let's say it's just at around 60,000. If we saw a 338% increase, that would lead us to about a $263,000 Bitcoin. Now, it might take a little bit longer for that to play out, as it did back here in 2018 into 2019. This took place over 189 days, which is roughly 27 weeks. 27 weeks is about 6 months or so. So we could still see this bull run. Like I've said, there is the idea that we do continue to go on for another few months yet. However, we do have the narrative that Bitcoin typically tops out near the end of the year. So that is where my mindset is. First of all, looking at the yellow box area up here. And then if we aren't quite there yet, by the time we get to the end of the year, then the narrative of this extending cycle will kick in for me, and I'll be looking into Q1, maybe even Q2 of 2022 for those all-time highs or the parabolic run at the end. Ethereum balance on exchanges is also at a 2-year low. The market appears to be in a good position, consolidating at current price levels around over 60,000 and 4,200 respectively. These are right around their all-time highs from when we ran up back in April. So they are consolidating around this zone, which is extremely bullish. We are forming a nice level of volume support there. And so I do think things are looking very good for Bitcoin and Ethereum and the cryptocurrency market as a whole for these next couple months. Of course, there's no way to be certain about where price action is going, but general indicators like that of Bitcoin on exchanges seems to suggest that the market could be in for a good growth period coming up. And I tend to agree. More Ethereum news is that Ethereum has hit its first deflationary week. So there was the EIP 1559 upgrade that was going to make Ethereum deflationary, and we have its first negative week. So the net issuance was negative 59 ETH, meaning that more Ethereum was burned than was created. The negative issuance will most likely make the coin a deflationary asset, which might attract more investors during accelerated inflation periods, which, as we know, there is inflation everywhere. I just don't think it has shown its true head yet. And more inflation is coming as they just keep printing more and more money. So moving into assets like Ethereum and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with a fixed supply or a deflationary supply could help people hedge their bets. Ethereum is one of the few cryptocurrencies that have successfully implemented a fee burning mechanism, which in periods of high network load lead to rapid decrease in the coin's supply. With more investors choosing a cryptocurrency to avoid losses caused by inflation, Ethereum might become a top pick for those who are willing to redistribute their funds and own a deflationary asset. So cryptocurrency is becoming more and more appealing to those bigger financial investors. It used to be a very risky play in the past, I would say, and now it is becoming way more mainstream and people are realizing that it is a legitimate asset to hold. I talked about this document in my last video, so go ahead and check out my last video. And this is basically how much money there is in the world, approximately $275 trillion in wealth that is not locked up in real estate, and what could happen if anywhere between any of these percentages really ends up being used from that 275 trillion and parked into cryptocurrency. The sweet spot for that apparently is between 5 and 10% according to a Wells Fargo article, so go back and check out my last video if you want more details on that. So that's what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now let's take a look at the altcoin market cap. So this does include Ethereum, but it does not include Bitcoin. And as we can see here, we've got a very bullish cup and handle forming here where we are kind of breaking out above this top line, or we've wicked above it, haven't closed above it yet, but we are knocking on the door time after time after time, which is a very, very good sign. This looks very similar to what happened back in 2017. So right before the parabolic run, we had this same formation happening there, which we also have, again, like I said, forming over here. So we've got that cup, and then from that point, after we broke out above that level, the altcoins rallied another 500+%. So this is why I have shifted my strategy a little bit more. There's potential for way more gains in the altcoin sector right now than I believe that there is in Bitcoin or Ethereum even. So currently I hold almost no Bitcoin or Ethereum at this point. I just have some Ethereum for gas fees, and I've got a little bit of Bitcoin on exchanges to do some day trading with and have some fun with it. The big reason that I have here is this sheet that I've created is all the different targets that I have laid out for myself personally. And when we look at these numbers for Bitcoin and Ethereum, basically the most we're going to get out of the rest of this bull run, from what I can tell, is at most maybe a 3 to 4x from where we're at for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. A 3 to 4x would be incredible. But when we take a look at the cryptocurrency market cap as a whole, altcoins on average went up 500% from last bull run. So if we see something similar to that here, you are averaging a 5 or 6x on the other coins that you perhaps hold in your portfolio, maybe even more. So if the altcoin market was to go up another 100% like we did last time, we could potentially see close to a $9 trillion altcoin market, which sounds insane. But like I said, we could realistically see these numbers hit with about 5% of the full global wealth coming into cryptocurrency. Not for sure going to happen this bull cycle, of course, but the money is out there, and it is possible as more and more people are seeing cryptocurrency as a hedge against inflation and as a legitimate investment. So like I said, that is why I have shifted most of my capital into some of the major altcoins. Like I've still got a lot of my favorites in there. I've still got ADA, I've still got DOT, I've still got Link, I've still got XRP, I've still got Matic, and I've shifted more into those coins and then trickled some down into my small caps as well. I also have a small amount of my portfolio that I am invested in meme coins with right now. That is less than, I would say, 1% of my portfolio, and I am totally fine losing it. It is just kind of gamble money, and I've seen a lot of big gains from certain projects, obviously, in a very short amount of time. So to me, the risk is worth it. Of course, you come up with your own financial decisions and come up with what you feel is right for you. What's your risk tolerance, and then go from there. So that is it for today, everybody. We are still very early to cryptocurrency. Like I have said before, I do think there is still a ways to go in this bull run as well. For sure, at least another couple months, potentially longer. We will need to wait and see how the charts play out, but I will make sure to post videos every single week in order to keep you guys updated. If you haven't done so already, please go on down, leave this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and select the notification bell, and then click on all so you get notified for when I post these new videos. And thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I will see you next time on the next episode from the Crypto Cabin.